The Daphne Project. I got to watch this last night.
Mhm.
So Zora, right? Zora Crews. Writer, director, star. I kind of, I mean, it's kind of fitting with the way the movie goes that you are the writer, director, star, right? I,
Mhm.
I like that. What was the inspiration for the film?
um, I guess that the inspiration came out of improv, actually. So my co-writer, Alex Tabaldi, he and I were classmates at LaGuardia High School. And one year we got the idea that we would audition for the annual talent show and
Mm-hmm.
sort of have these sketches that were centered around bad auditions. um, and people were doing all kinds of different things, but from that moment, I had kind of come up with the Daphne character, and
Okay.
she's always been someone who, thinks that she's reached this height of success and is kind of looking down on the little people. Meanwhile, like no one knows who she is. And I think like a bit of that activism has always been a through line with her as well. And we would literally walk around with Alex camcorder and like record her adventures back then.
Yeah.
And then since then, we kept in touch. We're still great friends, and we would always wonder what would Daphne be doing now, and what would it be like to do a full production with someone like her. Um, and it's funny because back in 2016, I was doing a production of The Bacchae, which Alec had come to see, and he always says that like after that moment, he was like, yes, this is what Daphne is doing. She's doing production of The Bacchae. It's super experimental and like kind of pretentious. And she's trying to take charge in this setting because that's what she does.
So are you an improv? Is your background in improv originally, or?
Um, you could say that. I mean, like I feel like I fell in love with acting through improv. I was taking classes at an after school program in Queens that had dance and acting and music and stuff. And was just kind of having fun with it, being a kid. And I had a teacher that was like, you should audition for LaGuardia. Like, I think you might be good at acting.
Yeah.
And I feel like the thought had occurred to me before, but I feel like there was something really powerful about someone older than me and someone teaching me to sort of like give me that nudge of encouragement. And I've stuck with it ever since.
And what was their job? What was their job that
Um,
encouraged?
I
They
still
were a
want to
teacher.
find this woman. I want to like find her. She was teaching us acting. I just know her last name, Miss Malini.
Miss Malini.
Yeah, Miss Malini was like super cool. Like you could tell. It's like looking back on it now, like she just seemed like an edgy theater artist that loved working with kids and like giving us prompts of different scenes. And I feel like I was the only kid in the class that wasn't shy. I was just like willing to play and come up with characters and make people laugh. And I don't know, I feel like those sort of instincts were there from an early age.
Was she a woman of color, or was she? Okay.
Yes. I don't remember where she's from, but she's definitely non-white.
Yeah.
Which I feel also was part of what was so encouraging about her pulling me to the side was
Mm-hmm.
that there were so many. It was a diverse space, but in terms of kind of like one-on-one fostering and stuff like that, like I don't think that was happening on a regular basis. So it felt important that we had been working together, and she sort of pulled me to the side and wanted to encourage me. And I think also let me know from that time it will be a little difficult. Um, the business is like much easier for certain people.
Yeah.
But I just remember being told to pursue it because it was something that she thought I was good at. Yeah,
My
but
person
that's
was
very important.
mine was Mrs. Ginta at the
Mrs.
time.
Ginta.
Mrs. Ginta. She was the drama. She popped in just to do the after school drama program because we didn't have my high school didn't have like a drama. We weren't big enough to have drama class, but she did the school plays for us, and she pulled me aside. Like, she walked through the guidance count and saw me and was like, "Silas, come here, talk to me." Like, and then said, "You need to promise me when you go to college you're gonna audition for a play." And she changed my life. And she was a white lady though, but so she wasn't aware of the difficulties the POC would have going in as much. I think she didn't really think about it. I mean, she was at the time when color blindness was there.
Right.
She was thinking of it where she was blind. But but I credit her for changing my life, really. I never thought about it. And
I remember, like, after that conversation with Miss Malini, I started looking up people that had gone to LaGuardia and, you know, had started careers, and it was countless people that I admired and wanted to follow in their footsteps. And I remember, because she used the word pursue, I remember like going home and looking that up. And like, that was the first time that the meaning of that word even like dawned on me too. It was like it definitely opened something up.
You mean pursue as instead of becoming, or just be an actor? Like, what was it something about the word pursue?
I don't know. I guess the idea of working towards something, of like building those blocks, of like, sure, it may start with auditioning for the play or auditioning for a school's drama program or taking a class. But I feel like the use of that word made it clear that there's a journey, and like there isn't sort of like an overnight thing, unless, I mean, that's a thing that I've now learned being a professional, is that there's all different kinds of pathways, but not everyone
15-year overnight success. Yeah.
Right. Like, not everyone gets discovered in a mall.
Yeah.
Some people have to pursue it.
And don't you find though that the people you really respect in the business, even the ones who may have gotten started through nepotism, they did have to still work at it?
Yeah.
Like, I've had friends argue about like Hollywood, oh, it's just full of nepotism and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, they still got to work. I mean, they still got to put it in, because it might get you in the door, but they're not going to base a movie around. Nepotism's not going to get you a whole film.
Right.
Like, talent in the end ends up winning. Now, right now is I don't know, I think of it as the POC Renaissance right now, because we're getting opportunities where they're actively trying to engage. You know, Issa Rae is one of my heroes right now. Like, oh, they can just that she can start pursuing passion projects and such. And who can she bring on? What was mockumentary a style that a style that why choose the style for Daphne? Like, was it
I feel like it was important to kind of capture all of those quirks, not just of Daphne, but of the people around her and who she's working with, and get all those little imperfections. And I feel like there's something about mockumentary that gets you behind the veil. And it's kind of like that cringe humor of like, why are we seeing this? Like, couldn't this have been a private conversation that no one else would have to suffer through? I think it came out of, I mean, Alec and I always cite Christopher Guest movies like Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, and we're big fans of The Office growing up. I just think there's something about that style that's always spoken to us, and it just seemed like a natural fit. Because even when we were sort of guerrilla style filming her in high school, it was very much just us walking around the halls of our high school and kind of forcing people to improv with this character.
Yeah. I love
that.
So I
think there's always been sort of a roving kind of like awkward, should we really be here style to the filmmaking, and we wanted to kind of do that in a more concrete way with this film.
Is there a point that you and Daphne cross? Like, is there any of Zora and Daphne?
My mom thinks so.
Yeah.
It's like you have all these people fooled that you're just acting, and I'm like, I am not calculating or like maniacal like she is. I do think I relate a lot to Daphne's passion. Like I feel like you have to have a certain level of just like insane confidence in your ability in order to be a performer or be in the arts. So I feel like we merge in that way of just kind of like, I'm focused, I believe in myself, I'm gonna go for it. But I feel like everything else is pretty much a departure from myself. And it's fun to play that because I feel like we were also very concerned with her not being likable, like almost intentionally. Like I feel like with female lead characters, likability comes off as such a must, or if we don't have it, the audience or people aren't rooting for them. But I just feel like we've been watching unlikable male characters for years, and I do feel like it's sort of a turning point that's happening now where it's like women can be assholes too.
Yeah.
It's been happening in real life for years. Why not on screen?
What do you think is, did you enjoy, like you were directing and acting in this, how did that, like, what was it like directing yourself? Was that, did you talk back to yourself?
I guess it was more of like Alec and I directing everyone else together, and then him directing me in the acting moments, or us kind of like both directing me. I don't know if that makes sense. It was I felt more of the hat switching between takes. I'd be kind of like, all right, I'm wearing my acting hat right now, but when it's a scene that I'm not in, I want to make sure my actors feel comfortable and that we're hitting the beats, and like even if we are improving, making sure the journey of the scene is intact. Like, we gave the actors the freedom to play and kind of end up at certain beat marks on their own, but just making sure that things were running smoothly and seeing how shots looked afterwards. And it's just a lot of just switching back. I'm a Gemini, so it felt kind of natural to just kind of be switching modes throughout the day.
Right.
But I feel like luckily I feel that Alec was kind of like, yes, you are thinking about all of these things, and I am too, but I also want your performance to feel free and fun, and I want you to feel like you can play as well as the rest of the cast is playing. So
would you do this again? Would you direct and act again, do you think, if it's a non-Daphne that you don't know as well?
I mean, I'm open to it. I just feel like with me personally, with my dream for this industry is to kind of end up doing a little bit of everything. So I feel like the stars would kind of have to align, but I'm definitely down to do it again.
What would your next, is it comedy? Is that your passion? Or is it rounded?
It's pretty rounded. I mean, I find a lot of joy in comedy. And there's something like very special for me when I realize that I've hooked my audience or that they're laughing with me. And I feel like that is kind of what has led me to this place in this field. But I feel like I'm interested in drama. I'm interested in tragedy and all of that. Like I feel like I did a lot of classical theater, a lot of Shakespeare and stuff. Like I love all of it. But the next thing I'm writing is completely different from Daphne in tone. So I don't know.
What genre? What genre is it?
Right now it's feeling like a thriller, if you will, kind of psychological thriller in that vein. It's I've been calling it my prison movie.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, like even in that, I'm finding ways for dark humor to kind of be in there so that like the seriousness of the subject matter is kind of balanced by social commentary and observation and stuff like that. Like I just think tonally, I'm always trying to hit several different things that will make people think.
I love that. I'll have to we'll have to chat again when you get.
Yeah, I mean, because it's the writing process is a beast of its own.
Mhm.
And I went back to school for acting and graduated during quarantine, which was interesting. Because I feel like I've always been acting and writing, and I feel like that's what's so special about the Daphne Project is that it gave me the freedom to sort of explore both and just jump into it and see what happens. And now I feel a lot more freedom to do it again.
Oh, I did want to ask you about the writing aspect of this. Was there a level of improv in it? Like, how much of it was scripted? Was it that made it
We
in
have
the
a
cut?
pretty traditional script. It's about 70 pages, I would say. Excuse me. I just feel like during the audition process, it was important that we had the actors read the scene as is, and then see how they would play the character through their improvisation. So it is a blend. It's funny, I had the script pulled up the other night, and it's funny to see what was always kind of like in the bare bones or like in the blueprint, and also what kind of came out of play and editing and all of that. So it's weird. It's like watching it. Some of the really strange things are written, they are on the page. And then a lot of it is just like gems that happen on set and in those moments. And, you know, I think people feeling safe enough to try something different in the moment. So it is a mixture, but we wanted to give the actors sort of a framework of like, here's the scene, here's how it has to end up, but it's up to you how we kind of get there.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I was very curious, and I will say that's also testament to how much I enjoyed and acting is when I'm not sure, and I even think that I was like, that's improv, right? And when it's not, I was like, well, that's beautiful. That like if that was scripted, a scripted moment, that's fantastic. Okay. So here on the Black and a Half show, we have 7 questions that we ask people the first time they come on. They're the Black and a Half world famous 7 questions. Okay, right. So let me get those before you get out of here. Number 1, what are you most nerdy about?
Most nerdy? I feel like this is like a cop out, but like film and TV, like the Emmy announcements came out the other day and I was like immediately reading them and like looking at everyone's post and like celebrating in my living room and like the ceremony hasn't even happened. I just think that I'm very fascinated with people's careers and I just end up in wiki holes all the time. Like I think also like the business of the industry is very fascinating to me. Like I'm just always looking at like this studio bought this person and like this assets and here are all the names that they've had. And like, I just think media in general is very fascinating. And I get really steeped.
That's fine. No,
pretty nerdy.
That's a standard. That's a good answer for filming. Number 2, what's something that you love to eat?
Chicken, like in all of its forms, grilled, fried, smothered. Like I feel like because I have a lot of food allergies, like I can't have seafood.
Oh.
So I'm just kind of like meat will be where it's at.
Yeah.
Even I love cooking chicken too. Like it's always good.
Okay. What's something that you love to drink?
Love to drink. I am immediately going to alcohol. I love tequila.
Really?
Which I feel like, it's an odd one.
The sipping tequilas, the sipping ones, or are you just a lime and a?
I prefer a margarita with like good sour mix. Like, I hate a bad sour mix. It just kills the whole vibe. Yeah. But either that or like tequila ginger ale is really good. One of my first jobs was at a tequila bar, and I feel like I just built up an immunity to it. So I genuinely enjoy it, whereas other people steer very clear of tequila.
Yeah.
And I do.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4. What kind of music do you love?
Ooh. I always tell people I listen to a little bit of everything, but I guess I always tell people actually that I have the music taste of someone's dad. I love, I love classic rock. Like I love listening to the Beatles and like Journey and the Cars. And I don't know, I'm really into that. As far as contemporary music, I just love pop. Like put on some Ariana Grande or Beyonce and I'm having a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5, what do you love to create?
Ooh. I want to say a mood, if that makes sense. Like I feel like if I'm organizing something or I've brought people together or hosting something, I like everyone to feel comfortable and I like conversation to flow. I think anytime I'm facilitating or just creating a mood or a vibe, that feels really good.
I like that. That's a great answer. Number 6, what's a game you love to play?
I like Scrabble. So I feel like there are a lot of other games that I get confused about the rules.
Okay.
I'm like Scrabble, I'm like, I have this amount of letters, I get to make words, and like I'm good at that.
Do you know all the 2-letter ones and stuff? Do you get
So,
that
like,
deep into it? I don't know. I forget that they were like XI is a word or something like
it is. Yeah,
all
I have no
those
idea
like
what it means.
like me neither. I'm like, there's a whole bunch of I think that should be a rule on Scrabble. Like you're gonna play those trick words that you need to know the definition of it or
Please
something.
define it right now.
Yeah, please define it. Use it in a sentence at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last question. Number 7. In 100 years, when someone reads your biography, what do you want to be remembered for?
Well, I hope they're referring to me as an entertainer. And I think, I don't know, I think my care for other people, I want that to be noted in some way. Just, so I think I have a big heart. And I'm always thinking of other people, and hopefully that'll be in there. Yeah.
That's nice. It's
a deep one. Wow.
We get deep here in Black and a Half.
Yeah.
The Daphne Project, it opens very soon, right?
July 22nd.
July 22nd. Yeah, I haven't that. Okay, so next week. Okay, so we're looking for that opening everywhere, video on demand, I presume as well.
It'll be at Quad Cinema in New York City for 1 week, hopefully 2. We do really well, and we will be streaming on Fuse Plus later this year.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll keep our eye out for that. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'd love to get you back another time as your other projects develop, and get Samantha on here too, my other partner who's kind of doing maternity stuff during the day. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Silas. This was great.
Black and a Half.